Good morning. It is right about sunrise. I'm in Ennis, Texas, which is one of the places to see bluebells. I think I might be slightly early. So you come see them in April. And this field has them in it, but you can see it's not like some big sea of them, at least not in this field. Now, since I'm here at sunrise, a lot of the places are not open because they're like actual parks. And some of the parks don't open until 8 or even 9. I'm not going to be here then because I need to move on to other things. But I am getting to see a little bit of it. So I think they have 3 different drives. They actually have an app called Ennis Y'all because this is Texas. The app actually says y'all. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm walking around this like little field, prairie, which is what Texas used to be back before, right? And then I'll go do one of the drives where hopefully I'll see, like, there might be other places where there's more of a field of them, but still they are absolutely beautiful flowers, and it's neat to see even little bits of them. So either I might be too early or too late, I'm not quite sure, or maybe just this field hasn't bloomed yet, but the other fields have. It is kind of neat going to see places where it's only something you can see, a few weeks a year. So you have to just be lucky if you see it then, right? I was wondering what that was. I was like, is that a buffalo? Oh, it's a buffalo statue. Okay. I guess there used to be a buffalo natural bison here. And obviously some people are, having them on their farm or their ranch, but I don't think they roam around here. Like, Texas doesn't really have like public land. I think everything's owned by somebody, which kind of makes sense. Texas was its own country. Everything wasn't the United States first. Everything doesn't descend from that. But anyway, they have a plaque here. American bison. Please keep off the statue. Millions of bison used to roam. I've seen bison a number of times at Yellowstone, but first place I saw bison was at the north part. There's like 2 different resorts out in the south part of Theodore Roosevelt. And in the campground, the north section, bison literally just like a bison herd just like roams around the campground. It's actually freaky. They're so huge. Of course, one of the other reasons I'm out here at sunrise is to beat the crowd. It is a Saturday morning, and this is a place that's very close to Dallas. So I'm imagining to get a bunch of people who either tourists or Dallas-Fort Worth people who come out here to see this. So I don't want to be here by the time they all start to show up. It's so wet here. I'm not complaining. I'm saying I'm observing, like, it's so strange for me, having spent so much time in the West, to be a place where the water is so abundant. There's rivers and lakes and swampy land and all this stuff just all over the place in this part of the world. My goodness, everything's so green. So many birds. I mean, it's just, wow. Okay, this is what we're talking about. A field of them. Finally found a place. Texas is very hard for me to navigate. It just the way they structure their highways and is just the entrance and exits are not what I'm used to. In either other part, like the Midwest or the West, it's just different. And so I'm always accidentally getting on highways and then missing the exit over and over again. Also, I don't have a very good connection right here, so I wasn't able to use Google Maps. So I was trying to navigate off of a static map, and I was having troubles. Also, while looking for flowers, right? It's hard to do everything yourself. Okay, it is nice to just be sitting here in the field. There are a few people around here, but it's such a big circle, you can be very separate from each other. And I'm sure it gets busy later because there are porta potties that they have set up, right? So it is 7:53. I plan to spend an hour here, and it has been an hour. I'm going to use the porta potty so I don't have to worry about going to the bathroom. But now I'm going to head into town. This is a town, but I'm going to head into cityness so I can take a shower and get some work done before I do the rest of my trip. But it is good to have little moments like this. And when you're on a big road trip, and I am driving across the entire state of Texas, which is actually very big, to just enjoy something beautiful, right? All right, let's see this patty melt. The bread could be more crisp, but we'll see. So it's pretty good, but the Texas toast definitely isn't. It's like it was toasted a while ago. It's something that somehow got soggy. I don't know. It tastes good, but they really lose points over the toast not being crisp. You know what I'm saying? But very good oniony flavor. So let's try the spicy ketchup. They had all these different flavors of whatever dips, and I couldn't deal with all the different ones. So spicy ketchup is. I wouldn't call it spicy. I would call that, I would call that a really good ketchup, but I wouldn't exactly call it spicy. But the fries, though, are very potatoey, so that is nice. So my goodness, is it windy out here. There's a wind warning, whatever, fire watch, I don't know, whatever the heck the wind thing is. And yeah, it is blowing this car around. There are tractor trailers still out, but I really haven't seen very many campers or people pulling trailers, regular trailers, very much at all. But yeah, this would be very hard to drive with a trailer right now. Price of gasoline in Texas. I just got gas and it was like $3.39 or something like that, and I'm literally next to a refinery. Now I know that's probably not the same fuel or whatever, but like the gas was cheaper in Arkansas and Missouri. It's weird. I don't know. And I've seen it. Look, the cheapest gas I've seen in the entire state of Texas was $2.99. There was cheaper gas in Arkansas and southern Missouri. So I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like, obviously Texas gas is way cheaper than California, but it is definitely not the cheapest. So I'm here at a rest stop in West Texas. Beautiful rest stop. I'm gonna show it to you. Hold on a second. It's also a tornado shelter, which is good because they have tornadoes here. But anyway, it's 89 degrees and it's 8:18 p.m. So it's gonna be hot. I've been kind of switching out some stuff in my car. I put away my wool blanket because I definitely don't need that. But we'll see how today goes. So I just learned something, which is that while it's hot here and it's just mediumly warm in various other different parts of the West Texas and southern New Mexico and stuff, in the 80s. There's some sort of weird effect that right by the Rio Grande, where my campsite tomorrow and the campsite the next night is, that it's like over 100 degrees during the day. That by the river, it's way hotter, which it totally does not make logical sense to me. So I didn't even think that was going to be a problem. Like, it's supposed to be 100. Like, today it was at the campground that I'm going to be going to. Today was 107, and tomorrow it's supposed to be like 104. And I'm just like, oh. Now, obviously, during the day I can I can drive around. There's like these scenic drives, and I can go up to the mountains and hike there. I mean, there's things you can do, but still, I was not thinking that it was good. I was opting into 107 degrees. Like, I just did not think that it was already like that. But apparently in mid-April, the Rio Grande is already over 100 degrees. So there's that. I'm still going to go because there's things to do there, and I'm here, right? Part of the reason I stopped this historical marker was just to stop for a sec, just kind of be in a space for a little bit, calm. I was right behind an RV who was going almost the same speed as me, but almost not as quiet. But now they can go up ahead. I'll catch up with them eventually. It's good to stop and stretch your legs every so often. Well, I know I'm getting close to Mexico because I just drove past Border Patrol. I mean, like a station. That I bet sometimes they check everybody who's going that direction. There is a crossing in Big Bend. I don't plan to go over to Mexico, but people can do, and you can. And apparently there's like places to eat and stuff like that. It's like a little town there. Yeah, it's interesting to see that. I mean, I actually wondered about that, staying at the 2 campgrounds that are right on the Rio Grande. It's like, how much of a Border Patrol presence will there be, It's so wild to me that, like, I could go into the Rio Grande. You can float it, but it's like the border between 2 countries. I don't know. It just seems wild to me. I'm really not quite sure what to do with myself. So I had a plan, according to the map that's on the website for the park, that there's a couple roads I was going to drive on that were maintained gravel roads, that are dirt roads or whatever they are, that are supposed to be fine for any car. But now when I got the most recent park map, those are now 4-wheel drive. And so I went in and talked to the lady, and she's like, yeah. I'm like, are they seriously 4-wheel drive, or is all-wheel drive fine? And she's like, no, it's 4-wheel drive. Here's the problem is, it might actually be fine, because I have all the X mode stuff, but I am not experienced in that, and in being able to judge what I can do. And because I don't have a shovel and I don't have all that kind of stuff with me, this isn't the time to experiment with that. So I am kind of disappointed. And also, that was kind of what part of my plan was for today, was to go do that. And then also the other day was planning to do that. It's wild in clean places like this on these roads where, this park actually does get visitors. It's not like it's nobody out here, but there ain't nobody on this road right this second. It is nice. I can feel the beginnings of the heat. It's probably only like 80 or something. It's not that hot yet. But I can, feel the twinges of it. I saw a couple of the gravel roads off, some of the other gravel roads off this road. And some of them look fairly rustic. Some of them look like well maintained and still marked 4x4. I'm assuming that they did that so they don't have all kinds of randoms driving their rental car sedans on it. But it's like, You can see those beautiful hills over there. You can see the layers in them. Nice. And what I'm suspecting they did is they decided to stop maintaining it to the level of regular car, you know, that there's probably some washouts and things like that along, and then they just aren't fixing them anymore. I know it's frustrating because the lady also didn't suggest other roads I could drive on. She's just like, oh, just stay to the paved roads. There's plenty of things to see. And I'm like, that's not really my question. So there are some places like Death Valley that actually gets into real specifics about their roads. And I'm sure there's other places, not just Death Valley, but I've been to Death Valley enough times and paid attention to all their stuff about roads. They get real specifics about which roads just need high clearance, which roads need four-wheel drive, which roads need to have like a Jeep type vehicle because they need something really small, because, and you know, which ones require high levels of experience. That's actually really helpful when a park does that, because it's like there are roads that this car obviously could 100% go on, especially with the X mode, whatever. But then there are roads that you couldn't even take a Jeep SUV that has four-wheel drive on it because it actually needs one of those really small Jeeps, and roads where you need like to have multiple people and have ways to winch things and like all kinds of things, right? And if you don't differentiate between that, then there's going to be people like me who are like, oh, I'm just going to take the risk because they label all the roads the same. Or you're going to try one of the roads and it's going to be fine, and then you think you can do all the roads when you actually can't, you know? It is unfortunate. Okay. Here's Dagger Flat Road. I'm going to turn into it at least for a second. Well, right now it's paved. That's funny. Okay. Well, this part of it is fine. All right, let's just drive on it for a little while. It's actually wide enough where I can totally turn around. Let me switch me on. Let's go ahead and look at that. So the sign that's actually here just says high clearance. And yeah. Now the other road that goes off this is four-wheel drive, but let's go ahead and try out X mode and see how it does. To be honest, I don't even know why I asked the lady, because the thing is, they're always going to err on the side of being conservative, aren't they? So far, there's no problem in the Subaru. Obviously, this would not be a good time in the Honda Civic, but actually, so far, I could have done it in the Honda Civic. So those are little lettuce. Don't exactly look like lettuce to me, but okay. So that looks more like four-wheel drive. See how much narrower it is and stuff? That one also actually says four-wheel drive required. So everything looks fine. Okay, that was all the excitement I needed. It was actually much more washed out. And that was the thing, is that was more than I wanted to do in my brand new car, which is fine and good. I think I actually probably could have done it because that other car was, but I don't know where they turned around. So that was enough for me today. I need more practice, and I need to do the practice in when I have stuff to get myself out of troubles. And also, it's not going to be 104 degrees, etc. Now, this road, I saw 2 cars on it, so if I had gotten stuck, there would have been other people, but it's a bit more than what I'm up for today. But I'm really glad that I went and saw it for myself. I think, you know, when you ask somebody what you can do, it's all their opinion, and I'm sure the people in the park want to err on the side of caution. And but it's both what can your car do as well as what you can do and what experience you have, you know. And I did not make the best choice of where to turn around, but I wanted to turn around where there wasn't like big, because the thing is, there were big things in there, right? It was not horribly washed out, but a little bit washed out, and they obviously had decided to stop fixing it. This part of the road they're still maintaining, but back there they're not. And it's fine if you have something where you're comfortable driving that in it, but I am not there yet, right? I'm not there yet. So I realized I didn't hit anything. The car stopped me. That's why I was like, how is a cactus like being that jarring? And that's what it was. It was that the car automatically stopped because it saw something there. So that's good, I guess. Awesome. Makes it difficult when you're trying to like cut it really close, backing up and everything. So I decided that, you know, I definitely am here a little too late in the season. April, mid-April, a little too late. It's a bit hot, but I'm compensating for that by eating convenience store ice cream. The farther I go down, the higher the temperature goes. Look at that beautiful desert. Flowers still blooming in a few places. I'm a little too late for all the flowers, but there's a little bit of flowers left. So look at these rocks. One of the things that happens when you get to these spots when it's over 90 degrees is that one person gets out of the car, but the other person doesn't, and they stay in the car running and the air conditioning on. And you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do, but it means that when I come to these spots, somebody's car is running. Sometimes they leave the AC running, and no one's even in the car. I'm like, wow, dude. Anyway, yeah, I love the desert. It's such a wonderful contrast between like so stark and it's hot and there's this barren aspect, but there's actually such beauty all over. You know, there's flowers, there's animals. Not right now. I'm sure everyone's like hiding right now. But yeah, I think one of the reasons I like it is because it's not as obvious. The beauty is not as obvious in the desert. So I am going to, after this, I'm going to the picnic area and then go to the campground visitor center, blah, 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 village. That is where I'm going to be. And it will be horribly hot. The thing is, since I'm going to be here for 2 nights, really 3 days, I've kind of divided up the park into different parts that I'm going to do. And so I don't really want to go do some of the other things twice, you know what I'm saying? Especially now that I may not be doing as much off-road road driving than I was like thinking I might be up for, because I'm kind of not. Oh, neat. It's an oasis. So the bees are freaking me out. Wow, they have more cactus species than any other place, any other park. So one thing that's really neat about being able to test my blood sugar, and I can see what's going on with my body, like just immediately get results. So I had that ice cream, so I was thinking, oh, well, I can't have another snack right now because, you know, that ice cream had 35 grams of carbs. I'm sure, you know, nope, my blood sugar was 115. And I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm walking on this trail. And I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a big part of it was because of the sun, and I bring my hat with me. I mean, it's here right next to me, but it's not like what's on my head, or you know, use my umbrella for sunshade or whatever. But yeah, the issue was actually that I needed to eat to have some more energy because it was depleting me, mostly because I'm drinking so much water. That's what I think is happening. Because yes, I am drinking a lot of water. Now I am descending into the Rio Grande, like, you know, where the Rio Grande is. And the temperature is going up and up and up. Now it went from 91 where I just was to 95 right now, at least on my car. So yeah, getting hotter. There is a bit of a breeze. I took off my shirt. I'm just wearing my tank top, which is still a shirt, so it's fine. And I'm just in my campsite anyway. And this is not sweat. This is me. This has been my thing that's so important last summer, because then as the wind blows, it cools you off. It's not super windy. I wish it was more windy, but there is a slight breeze. It makes a huge difference. Huge difference. So they do have water here. I'll be able to fill up all my water, which is absolutely great because I'm drinking insane amounts of water, you know, which is what it is. And yeah, like I could go do more things, but I don't think I can do more things. So tomorrow, the plan is going to be to go up to the mountain area. And first I'll go over to the area was today that I could, where it was just too hot for me to do the nature walk. It's not a long walk. Do that super early. And then after that, go over to, and maybe even go to the Rio Grande thing. I think I can do the trail to the Rio Grande tonight. Camp host just came by and like told me all the information. One thing is that I can't idle my car here because this is a no generator zone. So, because I guess it's for tents or whatever. So I'd have to, so just drive around in a circle around the campground. I'm like, okay. I honestly don't think that's different, but okay, whatever. And then told me a whole bunch of other things. Yeah, it is kind of funny when someone tries to give you a bunch of information. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I need no information. I'm good. He did say though that the camp store closes at 6, and that's actually a good piece of information to have. They do have showers that you can use quarters for. So I've been kind of looking forward to being in a campground just to like be somewhere for a while, you know? Now, obviously I didn't think it was gonna be 101 or 104 or whatever the freaking degrees it is. But also, now that I'm here, I'm like, oh yeah, there are things I don't like about campgrounds. Like the fact that I'm having to listen to somebody else's music or listen to someone else's loud conversation, or the fact that there are rules. You know, they came in and had to tell me all the rules and were surprised I didn't have any questions. I'm like, no, I don't, just, yeah, I really, there are things that are great about campgrounds as far as location. This park, if you're not in a campground, you have to like leave and you have to go to like really far. Like there's not dispersed campsites, places to stay. So I don't regret having it for this trip. But generally speaking, yeah, I'd rather do my own thing at a rest stop, Walmart parking lot, side of the road, or dispersed camping where the rules are incredibly minimal and I can kind of do my own thing, right? It's gonna be this hot. And my car is so freaking hot. So hot. Everything in my car is so hot. Another 6 hours of this? That sounds terrible. And you can't idle your car. And I understand why. But I'm like, no. So, oh my gosh, the seat is so hot. And the seat, nothing was in the sun. Okay? This is just the heat of the world. Oh, I put everything in the wrong spot. Whatever, I don't care. So I'm done. So what I'm gonna do is go over to one of the places where there's Wi-Fi. One is the visitor center. Oh, fuck. And then the other is this little store. And look for somewhere to spend the night. The A-liner, that's one of the things that I might get someday. So, I don't know how you're supposed to use these old-fashioned pumps. Like, it kept timing out over and over. And it only gave me like 2 gallons. I'm like, that's no way that's right. But I'm not going to keep fighting with it. So I just got 2 gallons of gas. Whatever, that's fine. I don't care. I just wanted to top up a little bit. So now I'm at 3/4 of a tank, which is fine. That's fine. Okay, so I actually was gonna get ice cream there, and I was like, you know, I've had enough ice cream. Really, the next thing I eat needs to be like meat or something like that. I'm gonna go over to the Rio Grande view whatever thing, because I'm hoping I can actually see the water, because I actually want to see the water. Oh shoot, I was gonna do the Wi-Fi. Actually, it's fine. At the visitor center, there's Wi-Fi, so I'll just go to the visitor center at the top of the hill and check out their Wi-Fi. Also, at that gas station, not only did it have these super old-fashioned pumps, which, to be honest, were very cool, but also, I was like, I don't know how I thought I would just give them my credit card and they would hold it. No, I have to give them the keys to my car and they hold it. And I don't know why that's better, or like in a sense of like, more like they were like, oh no, we can't touch your credit card. Like that's somehow some magical thing, but they can hold your car keys? Okay, dude, whatever. So right there is Mexico. The water looks super green and yucky, but man, I could just dive into it. It's so hot. It's so hot. So 104 degrees, I think, is correct. And yeah, I'm just not prepared for 104. And I don't mean like there's things I would bring. I mean that I've been in cold weather up until very recently. So going all the way to the hottest does not work. And to be honest, my plan going forward is to avoid 104 degrees, you know? That's what my plan is for the summer. I actually am not making specific plans on specific weeks, what I'm planning to do. What I'm planning to do this summer is to do some following the weather. And it's funny because people follow the weather a lot in the winter to avoid the coldness. I agree with avoiding, you know, negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit or things like that. But generally speaking, what I actually want to do is just avoid the heat, because coldness, not negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm not doing that. But like a lot of the coolness is not that big of a deal. And I think those problems can be solved. But this heat, yeah, I am not interested. And I can't actually do it. Like, I can sit in the shade all day for hours and hours. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep tonight here. And that's not going to cool off. Because, I mean, if it's 104 at 8 p.m., what time is it going to be at 10 p.m.? It's 94. I mean, it's not actually cooling. You know what I mean? But for the record, I completely admit this is my fault. I should have done a better job with my research and researched what the temperature was, not just like in the park generally, but in specific places where I was going to go and where I was planning to camp. Because, you know, this was information that was find outable, and I didn't do it because I was doing everything in a hurry. And, you know, but sometimes that kind of stuff happens. I'm good at planning, but sometimes I don't take the time and just, you know, go with it. And this time it did not quite work out. Yay, we're in the 90s. So, as I already said, I decided to leave, and I am on my way to go to a rest stop that is on the 10 and looks like a perfectly great rest stop, and it will set me up for going to Guadalupe tomorrow. And I don't think it will be, it's definitely not going to be 107 or anything like that. It'll be warm, but not bizarre. And also I can get there, I think from the rest stop I'm going to stay at, it's about a 2.5 hour drive. So I can get there in the morning, because I'll just wake up and go, you know. And I could get there in the morning and start hiking in the morning. And then that is, if I had known that I was going to leave, there's a couple more things I would have gone to do at this national park. I would have gone up to the mountains and gone and look at that stuff. But the thing is, I'll just leave it for some other day. Because the thing is, I went to multiple things and couldn't do it. I couldn't walk on the nature trail. I couldn't walk on the trail to go see, like, I did see the river from the, like, overlook, but I couldn't walk on the trail to see it at all, because it was making my heart race. I just was not up for it. Not up, you know, there'll be a point in the summer where I'm used to more heat. I don't know if I'd ever want to go hiking at 104 degrees, but I could go hiking at 90 degrees, you know. But right now, no, I am definitely not there. Definitely not there. So Guadalupe, I think it might get into the 80s, but I'm hoping to do the hike early enough and get there early enough in the morning such that it won't have reached its peak yet. Though what I'm thinking is that I actually might take the next day after that as a work day. We'll see. I do have the reservation, for lack of a better word, for a time for the caves, because you have to make one. So I don't know if I can move that up to another day. I might be able to, and I might look at that once I have internet again. So, and the thing is, I'm fairly fragile. Like, I don't want this to set off a migraine for me to be so hot all day. I don't want to not get a good night's sleep and then I feel terrible and it ruins the rest of my trip, right? That just is not worth it. So I still counting that I went here, because I did go here and I walked around and I looked at some stuff. But I saw the Rio Grande. But, you know, the rest of the things we'll have to leave for a future trip when it's not 107 degrees. Good morning. So sleeping at the rest stop last night went great. It was only 90 degrees when I arrived there, which was great. When you've been in 107 or whatever the heck it was. My car said it was 113. Outside temperature was supposed to be 107. So I don't know. It was very hot. 90 degrees in and with an overcast sky does not feel hot anymore. It's really funny, right? It's all perspective. And then by the time I went to bed, it was in the low 80s. And actually, that was okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd much rather sleep with 40 degrees outside, but we're starting the summer season, so it's unlikely that's going to be happening again. So right now I'm going over to Guadalupe, got gas, and I was a little bit nervous when the next gas station was. By the way, my GPS system on this car, terrible. It is great if there's no other option because my phone doesn't have connection, but I ask it, where's the next gas station? And it has me like, oh, the closest gas station is 24 miles the back way. And then I look on Google and there's a next gas station like 14 miles this way that I'm going. And I'm like, what the heck? It's so weird. It does not have a good database for something as basic as telling you where gas stations are, which is like the most important thing. And I can't figure out how to have a setting where on my route instead of closest, because it'll tell me gas stations that are like, I'd have to go 20 miles down a road an opposite direction. And I'm like, I was actually thinking about something as I'm driving. Like I've talked before about how if I ever decide to pull a trailer, I'm going to take a course or hire a person to teach me how to pull a trailer. And I realized, you know what I need to do? I need to do that for how to drive on gravel roads. I mean, not a regular gravel road that's improved, but for learning how to drive on, stuff that's more complicated. And I'm sure there's got to be a course or a person that I can hire and be like, look, I just want you to take me out in whatever four-wheel drive thing that you have so I can learn how this works and then I can apply it to my car. And while this car can't do what those guys probably do in their Jeeps, I at least will learn about it so then I can apply that. So I've only watched a couple of videos about it. I need to watch some videos and, read some articles, whatever. And then I think I need to actually do it, boots on the ground, actually have someone show me and how it is. And I'm sure there's either a course you could take or that there's like, you just, have one of these, Jeep tour people who are really good and then they show you how to do it. I don't even necessarily have to, if they may not want me to drive their vehicle, and if they're not comfortable with that, that'd be fine. Even just being with someone as they do it, someone who really knows what they're doing, I think would make a huge difference. Because I just can't judge. Like, I'm using just my gut instinct, which isn't bad, but like, I'm sure there's more to it, I don't plan to do anything super complicated in this, but I do want to do what I'm capable of doing in this. And I don't know what that is yet. So that's something I'm going to look into when I get back into my home base, is to figuring that out and maybe scheduling something with someone in the, this summer where I go somewhere and they take me out and I learn how to do it. Now, the perfect one would be if we go together and, they're in their Jeep or whatever and I'm in this car and we go together. Like, that would be perfect. I don't know if that exists, but I don't know. We'll see. I think there's blowing sand, so that's interesting. See this gravel? These are huge pieces. Like, is it they add this, or is this how much force the water comes down such that it brings gravel this big? I don't know. We're gonna go upstream and find out. Yeah, look at the size of all these rocks. There's boulders. So neat how there's water upstream but not downstream as it soaks into the ground, presumably. I love places like that. It said 2 to 4 hours, and it took me an hour and 20 minutes to get here. So maybe I'm a little bit faster of a hiker than I thought. I'm not the slowest. So I really liked that hike. It was great. I was out there for what, 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours, something like that. And except for the very end, it was the temperature was great and everything. It was getting hotter and hotter. It got up to probably around 90. But for the first part of it, it was all overcast. But then it was not. It was sunny, which was harsh. But I feel really good about having done a really good hike, enjoyed myself, got to actually be out there doing the thing, one of the things that I enjoy doing, and it didn't get too hot, for the very, very end, and I was almost back to the car. So that was totally fine. So now I am driving into a town, Carlsbad, New Mexico, where there's a Planet Fitness, so I could take a shower because I sweated on that hike. It was so hot. I'm just like, oh my gosh, yes. Now I definitely need a shower and wash my hair and all the things. What I'm going to also do is I'm going to move my Carlsbad Caverns appointment or reservation or whatever, to tomorrow afternoon, because if you're going to go into a 50-something degree cave, do it in the afternoon when it's 90 degrees outside, right? Makes sense to me. So the morning I could get up and work, and then I could go to the caverns in the afternoon, and then I could drive over to buy White Sands. So I'm ready to go to the White Sands Park the next day. So about a day ahead of what I planned on my trip. Makes sense because I left Big Bend a day early. I don't know if you could see it out there, but it's blowing dust. So it's 90 degrees here, but first I'm parked in the shade, as you can see, and it's 4% humidity. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this really is a dry heat. Like, I get the whole dry heat thing. When it's 4% humidity, yeah, it would be dry. I've had to put lotion on my face like once an hour. Like, it gives them mush my hand. I mean, it's like sucks it out of you. But it really does not feel that hot. Obviously I'm in the shade, and it's also crazy windy. It's like actually gusting up to 40 miles per hour, maybe more than that. There is some blowing dust and such. It's actually blowing enough wind to knock things over and things like that. I was originally going to spend the night up at a rest stop along the way, and a number of reasons I decided that I'm going to stay here in town. One of them is I was going to come get to Planet Fitness, take a shower, etc. 2 is because it was going to be windier up there. So if it is going to be 60 mile per hour gusts, do I really want that? Or when I could be in a town that's going to have less wind and also have more things, So that is what I did. It's actually nice to not be going anywhere for a little bit, I was hoping I was going to have that with saying campgrounds, but the campgrounds were hotter than the surface of the sun. So here we are. Probably will stay tonight at a Walmart Supercenter that's here in town. Seems like other people in Ireland have stayed there and they've not had a problem, being kicked out or anything. I haven't headed over there yet, but I'm thinking it won't be an issue because someone just stayed there very recently. I have a list for stuff to get at Walmart, or at least go in and look for. It's one of the things are like lunch meat, like some things I'm for sure going to get. I might also need to get ice. I have to look at my ice. Probably would be a good idea to get it tonight so I don't lose stuff that's in there. So I legitly have things to get inside Walmart. I'm not just going there to use their bathroom and their parking lot. And then tomorrow I I just made a new reservation for the caverns for tomorrow afternoon. So that went through, so that's great. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to stay here in town. I might even come to this exact park that I'm at right now. And there's a lake here. It looks more like a river, but I guess it is lake. It's very, very green. I haven't gone up to look at it yet. But it's super chill, quiet park that has bathrooms, which I have not checked out yet, but we're going to hope that they're okay. And so, work in the morning and then go to the cave in the afternoon when it is hot outside, but it'll be 50 whatever degrees in the cave, and then go relocate to a different part of New Mexico. As I said, I'm a day ahead, and I think I will just go back a day early. I don't think that I'm going to stay out, mostly because it is starting to get hot in, you know, southern New Mexico and things if it wasn't. I mean, the thing is, next week it's going to be in the 70s. So it's a luck of the draw time of year. But if it had been in the 70s, then I would probably stay for another, you know, couple days or whatever. But it's 90 degrees or more during the day. And, you know, you're in the desert, so it's hard to find places that are like shade. Oh, by the way, I took a shower like an hour and a half ago and my hair is already dry. Just dried. 4% humidity. Whoop, sucks it right out. Sucks it right out. Yeah, there's some dust. Okay, someone just came up to me, asked me if I was married. Like, I think he was gonna hit on me. Like, this guy was like, had to be in his 30s, and I'm just like, dude, I'm way older than you. Not that there's anything wrong with people doing that, but you know, I of course said that I'm in a relationship, which I am. But it was just funny. I'm just like, I guess I'm popular in New Mexico.